Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe des E-Talk. Ich bin natürlich noch immer in Vancouver, VREC läuft gerade und ich mache meine Interviews und habe jetzt Altiplano getroffen, habe einen Conflict of Interest, bin Aktionär, bin beim letzten Private Placement. I think I come in with the last private placement, or
Yes.
for sure I bought the last private placement. And I think
3 weeks ago. Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
3 weeks ago. And what was the price?
At 5 cents with a 7.5 cent warrant. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 Cent, 7,5 Cent Warrant war das Private Placement, but the Private Placement is closed.
It's close. Yeah.
Okay, ist schon zu. Und ja, warum? Weil erstens mal die Firma kenne ich schon seit Ewigkeiten. Und bei 5 Cent ist halt so ein Punkt, wo man dann eigentlich kommt, wo man sagt, okay, entweder man steigt jetzt dann ein oder man steigt nicht rein, weil recht viel tiefer können sie nicht fallen, weil eigentlich mit der Finanzierung unter 5 Cent es relativ schwierig ist, das sind immer Ausnahmegenehmigungen und so weiter und so fort. So, und er wird uns jetzt einfach mal Update geben, wir haben das letzte Mal mitgesprochen vor 18 Monate und da hat es ja einiges getan, sage ich mal. So, Alastair, thank you for your time. I said in my German introduction, the last interview was around 18 months ago, and I invest with the last private placement. 5 cents is always so a hurdle where I say, okay, you know exactly, much slower is really tough, then is the financing also a problem. But in the last 18 months, there's a long time ago, so what's happened in the last 18 months?
Well, first off, thank you for participating in the placement, and good to see you, and it's nice to be here in Vancouver. It's fantastic weather, especially from a Canadian perspective. But yes, I mean, the placement at 5 cents, we closed recently. I think there's two ways of looking at that. As an investor, 5 cents is a good entry point because you have good potential for upside. From the company's perspective, you know, issuing at 5 cents has a dilutive aspect, but we raised $500,000. It's not like we've raised X millions of dollars to do a massive dilution. This is more about a strategic raise to fill in some requirements and give us an opportunity to move forward. So what's happened in those particular periods? I mean, we've been focusing on developing our assets. We've been focusing on completing our mill, which we've done. We're now producing a copper gold concentrate. We've got a great partnership with Ocean Partners, and we sell our copper gold to those guys. Very soon, we've got an opportunity to talk about selling our iron concentrate. So we have about 2,500 tons of iron at that plant site, and soon we'll be in a position to be selling that. So we've got 2 income streams. So I think that's very positive for the company to generate income, to support operations, to look at from reinvesting into the company, reinvesting into equipment, etc. But I think mostly important for the company is that we've set out to do the things that we wanted to accomplish, and that's build that mill, build a very high-tech project, and we've completed that, and we're finishing that off with the opportunity to sell the output from there. Second side comes from supply, so we need to nail down, opportunities in terms of supply. Santa Beatriz is a project that we have been working on for almost a year. It has great prospectivity. It was a previous operating mine. It's very similar to probably 10 projects that are in the region that are iron oxide copper gold systems. Fantastic grades of between 1.2 to 2.5% copper, also contain iron. So that's what our focus will be in terms of our supply, is to bring that Santa Beatriz project into production. So it takes a little bit of time. It'll take some drilling, it'll take some mine development, but we'll have control over our costs. We'll have a lower, call it royalty structure, an opportunity to build out on our P&L much stronger than previously.
So, but as you said, dilution always with 5 cents and so on is terrible. But you're in production, you create cash flow, and with this cash flow you can forward. Do you plan any bigger private placements, or your plans then, or which price you must reach that you say, okay, now it's my strategic stance to raise more money to going quicker forward with the project?
Well, look, this is mining, and mining is very capital intensive, and you need capital to develop your business. So strategically, if we are looking at a requirement to drill or extend our decline, we'll need cash to do that. I think what the positive side of this market is, we're starting to see a little bit of a lift, a little bit of interest. Even here at the resource conference, you're seeing some fresh faces, some new people that are here. It's it's a good attendance. So we're having an opportunity to bring in new potential investor base. This market has the opportunity to grow. Copper market is still very strong, so we can see that opportunity for a lift in the company in terms of share valuation when the general market, the general broader commodity market begins to lift. Look, we've been talking about that for some time. The industry has been talking about that for some time. But it's a cyclical business. That will happen. So, if indeed we get to the point where we've got an asset or requirement that would require a significant capital raise, we would look at that. We would, of course, look at the ways that it provides an accretive value for the company. You can't go out and raise, $10 million to drill 20,000 meters at 5 cents. It doesn't make any sense. You've got to build the valuation of the company. You've got to build it up to support that raise, to support the growth in the company. So that's from a management perspective. We've got a lot of experience in that. The Metals Group's been involved in this business for several decades. We've been involved in 40 companies. We've had 20 good exit strategies with respect to the companies we've been working with. Overall, the company, collectively with all the companies that have been worked on, has raised over $1 billion. So I think from our point of view, we'll focus on that. And management's got a very good track record. So my perspective being CEO, it's managing the company, managing what's accretive in terms of growth, and protecting that share base as much as we can, but still knowing that we're a mining company and knowing we need capital, we'll go in strategically when we need it.
One interesting point, you say we have good copper markets. When I was on the Metals Forum 2 days ago, the people look at the copper price is too low and we should go in much, much higher. So do you think we have really a good price, or you say, okay, for your mill, is this a good price, but in general you believe on a higher market?
You'll always have a promoter wanting to see $10 copper.
Right.
I think personally we have buoyant markets that above $4 is a good market for many producers, particularly the majors. But ultimately, of course, we want to see a higher price, both in terms of gold and copper prices. There's a real disconnect between where we have on the underlying with respect to copper prices and with respect to gold prices and the fundamental share price. But what does that mean? It means investors are a little bit disenchanted with mining companies and the use of capital and the potential growth of expenses that they see. But that will flatten. And, we see companies like Barrick who have a share valuation of X when in 2015, when the gold price was at $1,200, their share price was double it is now. So that disconnect will come back to the market. Look, if you're a company, you can't sit back and say, I just want my shares to perform the way they should because we're going to see a change in the cycle. I don't think that's good management. You need to position yourself to participate in growth of this market and growth of the underlying price, copper, gold, et cetera. And that's what we're doing. Building up properties, being able to sell production is, I think, very important to shareholders.
Okay. Any major driver in the next 6 to 12 months where you say, okay, we're waiting for this or this, or the investor should wait for this and this news when this happened, mean this for the company?
Do you mean from the company's perspective or the market?
No.
Okay, from the company's perspective, we have a business plan to use the production and the revenue that we generate to be sustainable, to use that to reinvest, to ensure that we have the lights paid for, employees, etc. But the real pivot for us will come when we find an opportunity to explore for and acquire a project that has great upside potential with respect to discovery style, discovery play, and so that's what Metals Group has done extremely well throughout the evolution of the company. And what we see every day is excellent projects, because when you have success begets success. People come to you with a project, they want to monetize. So we have a really great deal pipeline flow. Okay. So we're focusing on that right asset to bring into the company that gives opportunity for that blue sky upside potential. Now, that doesn't happen overnight, and we want to ensure that we do look at the right projects. You have to have the right capital structure. You have to have a lot of right things to make those things happen. But at 5 cents, this is a fantastic entry level.
No, absolutely. That's the reason why I say, okay, I want to be part of the private placement. And at 5 cents, you know exactly that's normally comes to a point where it's really the end of
yes, it's a bottom.
It's a bottom.
That's what you like to think, of course, and that's something that we're focused on. And the next step is to bring a project that makes a lot of sense to the company, and when it makes a lot of sense to the company, it makes a lot of sense to sharedholders. So that's our next growth. Yeah.
Alastair, thank you for your update.
Yeah,
it was really a great one. Ja, was Gutes hat sie in den 18 Monaten getan. Ich habe ja kurz gesagt, ich bin über Private Placement jetzt reingegangen bei 5 Cent, weil das ist normalerweise immer so der Tiefpunkt. Das, wie gesagt, ist schwierig, unterhalb von 5 Cent auch die Private Placements zu machen. So, was ist allerdings die Story dahinter? Sie haben das Geld auch teilweise genutzt, um die Mill zu erweitern, zu verbessern. Sie haben Kupfer und Gold, die sie ja dementsprechend dann bearbeiten. Eisenerz kommt jetzt noch dazu als zweiten Revenue Stream, also da kommt Cashflow rein und diesen Cashflow nutzen sie natürlich, um ihre anderen Projekte zu entwickeln. Und was auch ist, sie suchen natürlich immer nur nach einem neuen Projekt, das auch wirklich das Blue Sky Potenzial natürlich aufmacht. Sie aus Metals Group, die Altiplano ist ja ein Teil der Metals Group, hat bewiesen über die letzten Jahrzehnte, dass sie Projekte aufstellen können, entwickeln können, haben über 1 Milliarde im Placement eingenommen und dass sie dann auch das dementsprechend verkaufen können. So. Und deswegen ist es jetzt so, wie gesagt, so eine Art Joker-Karte, wo man sagt, okay, man setzt auf dem Sektor oder nicht. Und durch die Produktion, die sie haben, hat man auch einen gewissen Cashflow, der reinkommt, um die Dilution dann dementsprechend auch niedrig zu halten. War ein interessantes Update. Wie gesagt, ich bin Aktionär, also Conflict of Interest. Und es ist heute der 20. Jänner 2025 von der WeRec Vancouver.
Thank you, Joe. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.